Okay, well, hey neighbors, welcome to the Shed Shop. And this edition of Chainsaw Redeemer is gonna port a saw. I have never ported before in my life. I don't know what the fuck I'm doing. But I'm gonna put this video on the internet because here's my hopes. Anybody that does port, I want you to critique my work. I want you to tell me what I do wrong and what I do right. Because I've been practicing on a couple of 026 cylinders I have that are roached, just to try to get the feel of the different types of bits and what works where. I don't know perfectly what I'm supposed to do, but I have an idea. So I want to go a little bit and then hopefully be able to put this video on the internet if my saw runs after the little bit I do, and then be told what else I can do. Or if I need to do anything else. I'm not touching the exhaust in this 026 because that seems to be the general consensus. Do a muffler mod, but don't open up your exhaust. I'm going to lower the intake a little bit, and I was told to leave that rough by a local porter that I know. He's not on YouTube, he just does it as a hobby, but I've seen lots and lots of his saws that he's ported run, and they look good and sound good and cut fast. And so I trust his advice. I have a beautiful 026, which I'm going to show you. But in this video, opposed to you listening to a Dremel grinding, I will either add music that's not copyright protected, or I'm just going to shut the sound off altogether to the video because I'm going to listen to music. Okay, so I will either change the media while I'm grinding, or it'll be silent and you guys can find some music you like and watch the video while you're working or whatever else, okay? Again, what I don't want is don't go down in the comments and tell me how dumb I am, blah, 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 blah. Disclaimer, this is an entertainment-only video. This is not to teach you anything. This is me learning. This is me trying to do something different. Me trying to find a passion in my saws that is missing, okay? My shop has largely, in many ways, become my tomb, my prison, my live-in prison. I have lost a lot of the passion for the saws because I'm in financial ruins and people bully me over my prices a lot. Despite my shelf almost selling completely out in the past couple of weeks, a lot of my saws, I get bullied on the prices. But I do something that nobody else in the industry does. I warranty my rebuilt saws, and I put my work on the internet, and I'll also put my warranted saws on the internet when they come back for warranty work. I have plenty of customer references. I have tons of positive feedbacks on both well, not tons on Marketplace, but on eBay, and I have positive feedbacks on Marketplace, but I have tons of comments on Marketplace of people that have purchased from me and are happy with their saws. And this is not 30 days after they bought their saw. I have people that have had saws for 2 and 3 years now, and they actively still tell me how happy they are with their saw. Some of them have base gasket deletes, ported mufflers, and some of them I have opened up intake baffles, the air filter mounts for like the 311s, 391s, the 271s, and saws like that. So again, please be kind and give advice and input. Not one of you motherfuckers that does this knows it all, I promise you. You think you do, but you don't. So if you're one of those guys that it's only your way is the right way, and there's no other way, get the hell off my channel. That's not what this channel is. We all have room for growth. We all have knowledge to share, and I don't care if you've been working on for saws for 50 years. I promise you there's shit I can teach you that you don't know. I promise you I've fixed problems that you've probably not been able to fix. But you know more about me than saws. I just have a passion not to give up. I have an understanding of certain sciences of how saws work, and I'm willing to look at certain things instead of just say this saw's not worth fixing. Okay, so that being said, I'm going to show you the 026, and then I'm going to turn my music on. We're going to take this cylinder off, and we're going to give it a whirl. And hopefully we don't ruin it. But if we do, whatever. You know, you learn from your mistakes. And if I'm not willing to take the risk of ruining a cylinder, well, I'm never going to learn. So let's get to work, damn it, neighbors. Well, by the way, just so you know, today is March 28th, okay? Just so you kind of have an idea. Here's my 026 neighbors, okay? So I'm just going to remove the cylinder. I currently do have a base gasket on because I didn't want to have to do any scraping. And the reason I assembled the saw is because since I've never ported before, I had to make sure the saw run and cut good and didn't have any issues. Because if I didn't do that first, well, then it might be something other than my port work being bad that would cause the saw not to run right. So now that I know my saw runs good and that it doesn't have any issues, no air leaks, no carburetor problems, etc., etc., I know if I port this biatch and then put it back together and it doesn't work, well, guess what, neighbors? Then we did something wrong, okay? And then you guys can go in the comments and tell me why my saw doesn't run. So this will be part one, I suppose. We'll make it a series. Part one of Chainsaw Redeemer's first porting of Stihl 026 chainsaw. This is the first saw I've ever ported. And the one thing I do know is I've got to get me a more steady grinder, because with my hand problems, I can't go very long with this grinder without having to stop. So if you see the video seem like it glitches, that's because I've paused it, taken me a 5 or 10 minute break, and then going back to work, okay? But I just want to sit here and listen to music. I've had a really rough day. And if you watched the live event for today, Friday, I believe again, March 28th, I think is the date, you know why I've had a rough day. Now, this piston did have a tiny bit of scoring on it. And so, in the end, if the saw does run, and it runs good, I'm likely going to put a meteor piston in it. And if I do that, even though a lot of people will tell me I don't need to hone the cylinder, I am going to do a light honing on the cylinder. Actually, this piston looks like it has scored a little bit more, so that makes me nervous. It makes me want to just go ahead and automatically put a meteor piston in. However, the problem with that is, then I might not know I'd have to put the meteor piston in, and put it in stock and make sure the saw runs. And so once I get this apart, I'm going to look at it, and I might have to do that. I might have to go ahead and put me a meteor piston in, and since we're using a base gasket, a stock cork base gasket, we don't have to let the saw sit overnight or anything. And that was the other part of it, is I wanted to be able to fire the saw up right away. And so I did measure my squish. I can do a base gasket delete. Me and Curtis were talking. It seems like there are some 026s you can do a base gasket delete on, and some that you cannot. Okay, so this, I am honestly just kind of winging it. I have some timing numbers, but I talked to a lot of guys that say I don't even use a timing wheel. Okay, so I don't quite know how one would. This is such a small cylinder, you can't get a marker in there to mark anything while the piston, or while the cylinder's on the saw. So for me, it's like, okay, my only option really is, I'm hoping, sometimes I can't get these intake boots off because the clamp doesn't want to loosen properly. So let's see if this one will allow us. Yeah, we gotta get that clamp loosened more. The problem is sometimes the nut slips down like that. Let's see if we can turn her over and get our screwdriver in from this side. Hold our nut this way, because I'm not wanting to take the whole carburetor and everything off. That's kind of extra work, pain in the ass. Yeah, this is being a pain. Okay, come on, asshole. Come on. Now it doesn't want to turn at all. It's sliding very easily earlier. Now it doesn't want to turn. Ah, come on. You little dickhead. Come on. Ah, come on. See, it slides right there where I don't want it to slide. But when I want it to slide, it won't. There we are. Let's see if we can do this. Kind of chilly in the shop today. I should turn the heater on, but I don't feel like listening to its annoying noise for the first 20 minutes. It's really bad for the first 20 minutes, and then it quiets down a little bit. Ah, come on, damn it. Okay, I think I got it loose enough. Let's move our clamp off of our boot. And pop our boot off carefully. carefully. There we are. Yeah, see, this piston did seem to mark up a little bit more. It was already marked up. But the thing is, our cylinder looks just fine. We got a little bit of marking on it, but I do have a hone for this cylinder. So I probably will hone it after I port it. I don't know. I don't know if guys do that or not, honestly. But I think I probably will. I'm just experimenting. You know, I'm so far in debt that at this point, I don't care if I go further in debt, honestly. I just want my passion back. It's hard to have a passion for saws when it's your livelihood. And damn it, what did we lose, neighbors? What did we lose, neighbors? Well, shit. What is this? Oh, that's part of a bearing I cut open to make a tool. There's a bit. There's a screwdriver. I don't quite know what we lost, neighbors. Let's see here. Ooh, these are valuable. Look at that. Those are valuable. Those are like $1.86 a piece. Okay, there's 4 muffler bolts. There's 1, 2 cylinder bolts. I have extras, but there's 3. There's 1 on the floor. There must be 1 more laying somewhere. We'll find it. Okay. So, yeah, I think I will put a meteor piston in this. I'm just kind of nervous. This piston is kind of marked up. And I don't want to destroy my cylinder. So I think I will. I think after I port it, well, hopefully port it, I think I will go ahead and put a meteor piston in. And then if it doesn't run, well, you know what? We'll put the stock piston in and see what happens. I will probably keep the base gasket on initially. And then after the fact, if it runs, then I'll remove the base gasket and do our Yamabond. Okay, so here we go, neighbors. I have a few different bits that I'm using here. I've been playing around with them for a little while. I got these new bits in. And I'm going to start, not with this one because it's slightly too big. But we're going to start here, okay? I thought I had one slightly smaller than that. I almost feel like I want to use a squared one first. So we got a few different bits to play with. Again, you guys, this is not an educational video. I want to make it very, very known that I've never ported a chainsaw before and don't do what I do. I'm just letting you in on my learning adventure. Okay, that's about all this is. These are carbide bits and they're supposed to be like double-edged. I thought the good bits would be a lot more expensive, but it turns out this $20 bit of sets works better than my 1 bit that costs $20. I don't feel like I tightened that good enough. And then I bought these long ones because I had noticed reaching the upper transfers was really hard for me. So I bought a set of these long ones here, and I will probably end up using those too. I haven't tried them yet, but I will. Okay, so I'm going to turn my music on. You guys will have different media from this point forward. Either silence or I will add music that YouTube allows me to add without copyright issues. Let's see, where is my YouTube music? I'm very nervous, neighbors. I don't want to ruin my cylinder.
You don't know the hell you don't know the price of pay.
I'm asking Curtis's advice as well. I want to see if he messaged me back. He did. I need to. Okay, got my final tips from Curtis. I got a piston on my bench for my locator pins, my piston pins. He said anything I widen, I want to make sure that I don't widen anything to where the piston pins, the locator pins, these pins right here go. So basically what I'm going to do real quick is I'm just going to kind of check and see, and I'm going to take a marker right here, okay, and I'm just going to go on the base of my piston or my cylinder here, and I'm going to say I got a pin right here, okay, and I got a pin right here. And this way I know, yeah, see, because I'm glad he said that, because now that I'm looking, if we were to widen our intake at all, which I didn't plan on doing, I thought about dropping the floor a little bit. But if we were to widen that intake at all, we might be in trouble. And then for our opening our our transfers, we're looking right here with this marker. I mean, it's just a rough edge, but one porter told me to widen my transfers to as much as my piston is. And also Curtis was saying if I want to get real wild, I can open my windows on my piston, but I don't think I'll do that just yet. But I've got my idea of where my locator pins are, and so really this is the only one I have to worry about. So when I widen my transfers, I'll only go a little bit, because we don't want to go we don't want our transfers to be open to that pin, because Curtis said then we risk having the ring catch. And so I'm gonna turn my music on, neighbors, and I don't know what your media will be, but here we go. Okay, neighbors, I decided to put this in fast speed because I realized the view is kind of far away, and so critiquing from other porters might be a little bit difficult because you can't see what I'm doing close up. The other thing I want to mention is you hear me mentioning Curtis a lot. Curtis is Curtis Baker. He is a subscriber to the channel. He is also a Loyalty Plus member, and Curtis came across the channel a couple of months back, and I had a 4.5-hour conversation with him on the phone one night and learned that he ports chainsaws, and I've been getting tips, tricks, and advice from him since then, and going back and forth. And this night he was helping me a lot, and you're gonna see here in a bit I'll make a mistake, and I have to defer to Curtis and ask his advice and see if he can help me decide, is this cylinder still going to be okay, or have I completely screwed myself? And I want to give a great big shout out to Curtis for all the help he's been offering, because I don't know that I would have been able to continue this journey this night without his assistance. Thank you, Curtis. The other thing I wanted to mention is the very first thing I noticed was the greatest thing I thought would be a challenge for me is the Dremel does cause my hands to cramp and lock up a lot. And so the hopes are that one day I will be able to find a better Dremel that has less vibrating to it. And I forget what it's called, but the one that actually has a foot pedal I think would be beneficial to me. But this is my first porting attempt, and I was only able to go for about 10 to 20 minutes at a time, and then had to take extensive breaks. But I think this has helped reignite some of the passion that I have lost recently for my saws, so that's good. I think we failed, neighbors. One slip is all it takes right there. I don't think I can widen that much, and I took out a chunk right there. I don't think we can open that transfer that wide. I think we're screwed. I have no air hooked up. God damn it. I think I screwed it up. That fucking sucks. 2 practice cylinders, and I finally get to the regular one, and I ruined it. I fucking ruined it, man. Son of a bitch. Let's see here. Looking at where our piston goes in. I want our piston fit. This is a regular 026 piston. It's really tight in there. I don't know why it won't fit. Okay, let's see here. Yeah, it's beyond the wide. It's beyond the it's beyond how wide the piston windows are by about 2 millimeters. Let's see. Just barely. I don't know if I can smooth that out to make it transition by sanding or not. I think I ruined it. We're gonna have to message Curtis and ask him if we ruined it. Yeah.